Yeah, that's right. They had their event today, did they not?
Yeah. They had. So, to just tell you how ridiculous it is, they had an event 2 months ago. I think in September.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
not even 2 months
exclusively
ago.
for the new iPhones. I feel like.
Yeah, new iPhones, new Apple Watches, and stuff like that. Not even 2 months later, they have their second event, and they revealed a new MacBook Air, iPad Pro.
Yeah.
I think that's the main stuff, and then like Mac Mini and all that. But to have you have so many products, you can split it up within 2 months like that, and you got everybody engaged with it.
Yeah.
And legit, like the MacBook Pro, not even the MacBook Pro, it was the MacBook Air.
Right, the new Air.
And it's weird because some of the stuff they release almost cancels himself out. Like the MacBook Air now is so nice that like you really have no use for a MacBook Pro. You might as well just buy the cheaper MacBook Air.
Right.
Like the only thing you're getting more is with storage and stuff, but like you could keep a hard drive on it or something like that.
I had heard that, and then I heard the other way around. So they were like, yeah, so it's
and
wild.
Then
it's wild.
And then with the iPad, you could buy an iPad and you don't need a computer because it's a computer itself.
Oh, bruh, their Pro is...
It's absurd
to me.
And like this new one,
Apple product, bro.
dude,
that is crazy.
This new one, legit. I've never owned an iPad or purchased one, but I was watching and I was like, I will easily drop unnecessary money on this because it's just so nice. Like they got rid of the home button and stuff, and it's just literally all the screen,
just Surface, bro. Yeah,
and like the technology behind it and stuff. It's ridiculous. And so I was watching the event earlier today, seeing them all reveal that, and it's just like it's crazy, like how much they just run the tech industry.
Bro,
and then,
every year.
And then the other part of it is like they've started doing these things now. It's like almost like experiences in their stores, and so they've taken their stores to the next level, where they're having sessions and like seminars and stuff like that, teaching people how to use their products, different things. Like there was one thing they were doing. It's like in London or wherever, where people were going around. It was kind of you're going around the city taking photos and stuff as part of lessons and stuff.
Right.
And so it's just going beyond selling technology and stuff. It's like, hey, like we're going to show you all the ins and outs of our products, how to use like portrait mode, all this and stuff, but also just making an experience. Almost like it's like a community in itself, which is just like in a year or so, not even a year or so, like it's at the point where you're not going to the Apple store just to buy something or get something repaired. It's to hang out, to learn.
Have you seen the Crabtree store recently?
Yo, I went there today.
Yeah, bro. We were there too. We were like 3 days ago.
I went there today. I was like, what the frick? Dude, it's
the best part of it was before they did the expansion. And it wasn't even like they changed the look of it because...
I think they're in a whole new location because they're on the other side of the mall. I'm pretty sure they're on a different side.
Oh, I think they might be. What cracked me up about it was what it looked like is it looked like it used to be half the size because it was. It really was half the size.
Yeah.
And then somebody next to them that went out of business or moved, and they were like,
we got that.
Why not? Let's just buy it. They just bought it.
Yeah.
It is...
We'll take that.
Crazy. It's not even like they have that much product in there.
No,
because everything's so like
it's open space. With tables and then this huge LED screen.
I was just cracking up when we
beautiful.
passed it.
It's
crazy,
beautiful.
Man.
Like
it is the biggest non HQ, and I guess Crabtree is technically like for them is a really really high volume store for them.
Yeah,
but it's probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest,
and like for me,
store I've ever seen.
And for me, like I want to go by South Point because South Point has its own building, and so and they've been going recently renovating all the stores, so they can hold these seminars and teaching lessons and all these things in them. So like if they revamped Crabtree like that, I can't even imagine what South Point's gonna look like. South Point's got its own like building basically.
Oh yeah.
So it's crazy what they're doing. They're running it. I'll watch the whole product. Of course, the one thing I was hoping they would announce, they ain't. Like the AirPods.
Yeah.
The AirPods. I made so much fun of them when they first came out and stuff. But then I started hearing people.
I remember.
Yeah, because they look so dumb.
Yeah.
But everybody had.
Everybody's on
and
those
like everyone's
now, bro.
just like, dude, these are amazing.
The case charges them, bro.
And
You know?
I swear, nothing gets me more mad than like when I yank my headphones out of my ear because of the wired.
Right.
And that happens to me at least 2-3 times a week. And legit, I'm about to like punch the closest person to me because it's always like I'm getting out of my car or like putting backpack on or a jacket or something like that, and it just pulls out of. And it's the worst. And so I have the Beats wireless, like the over the ear for working out and stuff. Those are great, but like I was like, look, I'm gonna just blow the money on this. But
right.
For me, that's the thing with Apple. I was like, look, I'm gonna buy this, and then you guys are gonna release a new one. And so I heard about the event like a couple weeks ago. I was like, okay, I'll wait till the event because a lot of things were like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this. There's gonna be released then. Sat there. All right, they're saving for the end. Nope. They're just bringing Lana Del Rey out here to sing.
Yeah, no big deal.
Look, Lana. Your voice is
Which, by
great
the way,
and all.
one of the most West Coast things you could like, hippie North Coast things you could
exactly.
do.
They're in, and the best part is this was in Brooklyn. They're like, hey, what's up, Brooklyn? We got you. We got one of your own, New York own, Lana Del Rey, bro. She sounds so California.
She is, and she's.
You can try to wing it however you want.
She's taking that on big time.
Yeah, you could have. I don't care if she was in Scotland. She's so California.
No, that cracks me up, and it's crazy because for me, this appreciation comes from and I wouldn't even really classify myself as an Android guy, and you can see this in commercials. There's 2 phone commercials out there.
Yeah.
Now Google has the money to advertise, but they don't count. It's Samsung and it's Apple. So when you're talking about operating systems, Apple wins.
Yeah.
Because iOS versus Android is a non-competition. When it comes to phones, Samsung's the only one that's got the cojones to actually build commercials the way that they do. And if you look at advertising, it's Apple, it's Samsung, and it's everybody else.
Yeah.
And Android's problem for years was that it's an operating system that is sold to a dozen different phone companies, right? And it cracks me up because I got the S9. I got the S9 Plus. Yeah. And it's like state of the art. The thing's incredible. But I watch that Apple event every single year, and I've always, especially when they announced the iPad Pro for the first time, bro. They are at like, and what cracks me up too. And again, this is an Android person talking. Android people be mad salty watching Apple events too.
Yeah.
And they always say the same thing. They go, "Oh, well, Android's been doing that for 5 years." And I'm like, you think Apple cares?
No.
That they took something that y'all been doing for 5 years and made it better? Like, nobody cares.
Yeah, it's like,
nobody cares.
And that's the thing with, like, the Android market that hurts them. It's like, yeah, you rolled that out, like, 2 years ago, but Apple waited and was like, you know what? 2 phones from now, we'll touch that. And by then, we'll make it 10 times better than you could. And, yeah, leave it at that.
Right. Right, and that's what cracks me up. And again, I prefer the Galaxy. I'm a Galaxy guy.
And the other thing,
everybody else is taking money from other divisions to fund their phones. Like LG, LG's using TV money to fund their phones. Yeah, that is the only thing keeping their phone division afloat because not only do they have Apple to compete with, but they have Samsung who is already whooping their tail. Yeah. So yeah, I love watching those events because I'm a tech guy. Like I freaking love it. Yeah. And they take stuff that people claim they've been doing for 3 to 5 years and just do it better.
Way better.
They just do it better. So
yeah,
fun to watch.
Yeah, so fun. But bro, I got a story for you, dog.
I'm ready.
I'm telling you.
No, I'm ready. Whenever you start stuff like that, I'm ready.
No, dog. I'm just going to start it off by saying this. I've lost all faith in humanity after this, bro.
Okay.
So, let's set the scene. So, this was Friday night. Not Friday night. Friday, like, middle of the day. I get done with work at, like, 3. And so, if you remember last Friday, it was pouring raining the whole day, just pouring
all day long.
Yeah, I think this was like the third hurricane that passed by, and we're getting the rains of that.
Right.
So in the span of 2 months, we had like 3 hurricanes affect us with rain. Global warming's real, guys. Side note.
I think we playing.
Yeah. So it was pouring raining, and like from the morning, I woke up and legit, I almost just didn't go to work because I was just like, I work downtown, and so I like where our building is. It's legit downtown, off of Fayetteville Street and stuff, all that. But parking downtown is horrible, and we don't have like set parking spots.
Okay.
And so I park like 5-6 blocks usually from where our building is, and then I ride my skateboard to work. So that was the biggest thing I was regretting. I was like, I'm not trying to do this stupid walk in the rain, and I'm definitely not going to ride my board because it just makes it worse. So, like, screw it, whatever. Got to work, and then get there, kind of just suffered through the rain, walking in the rain.
Right.
Pissed off the whole day.
Yeah.
Come 3 p.m., I'm done. And, there's like, it's Board of Elections, legit 2 buildings over from us, and so I was like, I'm just here already. I got some time, so let me knock out this voting stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, go vote.
Yes.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Next week.
Right.
Next Tuesday.
Right. Yeah.
Next Tuesday. Day to vote. So went to vote, and then from there I went back to my car, and so at this point it was still pouring. Yeah. And I was just pissed off, soaked, walking back to my car. And so as I'm walking, this car kind of like pulled up next to me, and it was this black guy, older gentleman. He looked about like early mid 60s or whatever.
Okay.
And he was like, "Hey, do you need a ride?" I was like, and I didn't hear him at first, but I was like, "Hey, what? Wait, what?" He's like, "Oh, do you need a ride?" I was like, "Nah, my car's just like a few blocks ahead or whatever." He's like, "Well, I could give you a ride to your car. It's like pouring rain." And at first I was like, "No." But then I kept walking. I was like, "Man, screw this." I was so soaked at this point. I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like if you can give me a ride in my car, yeah, I'll take that." So I get in, kind of start talking with him, and he's like, "Oh, so what do you do?" I was like, "Oh." I don't know why you laughing already.
I'm trying not to guess.
Nah.
I'm trying not to guess.
Bruh, so like he kind of he does the like, "Hey, where are you from?" and stuff, like small talk.
Yeah.
And so he's just, "Oh, where are you from?" I was like, "Oh, I live in Cary. Originally from California," but like it was one of those. I'm like, I'm not exactly sure like what you're asking or whatever, because that's always the hardest. Where are you from? Like, where do I live now? But whatever. So then he asked like, "Oh, what do you do for work?" I was like, "Oh, I work with this nonprofit, do social media stuff, blah, blah, blah." Kind of small talk. And then his next question, he just was like, "Hey, by the way, I was just wondering, so are you into men?"
Yeah.
Excuse me? Are you into men? No, dude. Hey, bro, you could just let me out at the stop sign right here. Right here.
What kind of... No, right so I got a question. What kind of car was he driving?
Bro, so this is the thing. It was driving an SUV. It was like one of those 4-door, not like a huge SUV, but nice little SUV. Nice little SUV. It was at least like few years model. It was at least 2013, 2014. Yeah, right, okay. Had a car seat, had a baby car seat in the back, back seat, had like some other stuff in it and all. Like 60-year-old dude, looked like nicest guy. He was black.
Sure.
So white dude definitely wouldn't have done it. But like so I was like, "Oh, here it is. I'm over here soaking wet in the rain. This dude is just trying to be nice." He's like, "You know what? With all that's going on in the world, man, there's still some good in it."
Yeah.
Then he dropped that question on me, and I was just like, "All right, bro. You can let me out right here." Oh. And like, I was just, bro.
I wouldn't have known what to, like. there's nothing. You know when you
I
do
was
that,
just
when
so
when
grossed
something
out.
crazy when something crazy happens,
Yeah.
and you have that conversation with yourself after the fact to try
That's-
to like what
that's-
you don't even know what to say to yourself.
Exactly. And that's the thing where like I got back to my car and it was part of it. I was just like shaking and it was just like grossed out, pissed off, and like just all these emotions and stuff. And biggest thing, like at that point, yeah, once you get back to the car, you kind of start playing the whole like thing over.
What just
And
happened?
then
Yeah, what just happened?
and then so I started playing it over. I'm like, okay, so one, this dude was driving around downtown, essentially looking for like
Just looking.
looking for people. And so here, like, as I was playing it back, I was like, that would be the perfect, like, time to come out. It's raining. Seem like, oh, you're just offering a ride since
Right.
it's raining. And then the other thing, and it was like everyone always thinks I look like I'm still in high school and stuff like that.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. I helped out at a high school camp a couple weeks ago, and a girl came up to me the last day and she was like, wait, you're not in high school? And I was hurt, but I was like, yeah, no, girl, I am 24 years old, but you know,
Right.
at least
Yeah, nah, girl.
5 years removed from high school. So
Yeah,
thanks.
right.
Really needed that one.
Yeah.
But so my thing was like, all right, dude, so you thought you were getting some high schooler or like an underage guy to come in
Even
your
if
car.
it was college, like we're talking somebody
Yeah.
like 40 years
Yeah,
younger.
that's still a 40-year difference. So you're over here.
Ooh.
It's just
Yeah.
all the aesthetics of it. I was just like,
Yeah,
bro,
oh,
that
yeah.
is so gross.
It's messed up.
And that's like, for me, being a guy with someone like that, like, yeah, I could easily fend myself. But then it just makes it in a perspective of like what girls have to deal
Oh
with.
my gosh.
Bro,
They got to second guess
everything. Everything. And that was for me because it's like, oh, black guy, older age, whatever, you know, seems totally innocent, like scoped it out and stuff. And in that moment, seemed all fine. But kind of afterwards, it was just like, man, nowadays you never know.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. You never know. And that's the sad part because it's like,
Jeez.
because I've had moments like that where like I've seen people walking in the rain and stuff and I felt bad and I've wanted to offer like a ride to them and stuff. But like that also just changed the perspective for me because it's just like I don't even feel comfortable doing that to someone. Like,
I don't want to scare somebody.
yeah, I don't want to scare someone or I don't want
Right.
to like, it was such a terrible experience. And
Yeah, that's messed up because like it's crazy because you could be in the same situation he was
yeah,
and be like, this person legit needs a dry ride for like through 4 or 5 blocks.
yeah,
And I'm not gonna do it because I know that there's a possibility I might come off this way. Like that's
Yeah,
it's crazy
yeah.
that we're in a world
now
where
it
like
just
we'll just
skewed-
roll right past cats because yeah, that's crazy.
yeah. And
That's messed up.
dude, it is so messed up. And part of me, I almost like wish I had gotten his license plate or something because it grossed me out so much. And it's nothing like being homophobic or stuff like that.
Right.
It's just like this dude's preying on people.
Yeah, like
way
my man
younger-
was gonna ask that question.
Yeah,
Like he had it in his mind he was gonna ask that question.
Yeah.
That's why he picked you up.
yeah. It's just
Yeah. Now I'll tell you why I laughed. Because I originally thought that he was gonna take you to your car and then charge you and be like, dude was like a Lyft driver, Uber driver. Whatever.
well. That's what I thought at first. I thought he was like a Lyft driver, and I was like,
You-
hey, bro,
he was about to be like, all right, that'll be
that'll
like
be
$5.
$5. Nah, I would have taken that
Oh man,
any day.
yeah,
I would have taken that any day. I wouldn't have paid him, but I would have taken that any day.
right. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you prefer that
but-
over what happened. So
Yeah. No, it was
nah,
gross. It was weird. It was just
it's bad enough as it is, and it's in that situation. Again, we can only imagine how much, like, from the time that they wake up to get ready for the day to the time that the day ends, how much girls have to like process through every moment of their day is kind of just
yeah.
it's just kind of wild, and like all their interactions,
And
it's
and that,
kind of just it's kind of sad.
and that was the other thing. I was like, thinking through earlier today. I was sitting at work, and I don't know what made me think about this, but it was kind of, I was thinking like when I lived back in California. Oh no, it was I was listening to some podcast or whatever, and they're talking about how, like, you know, when we were younger, we used to like always be outside, like always wanting to be outside, playing with friends and stuff like that. Now it kind of made me think back for me when I was younger. Now it was the same, like growing up in California, it was always like just wanting to be outside, hanging out, doing whatever, playing whatever sport, getting, you know, skateboarding or whatever. And so I used to all the time would like sneak out of the house or leave the house and go to my friend's house, and usually like the one I went to the most, he lived like at least a 30 to an hour, not 30, like 30 to 40 minute walk away. And I used to make that walk all the time. Middle school me, leave like early in the day or something, and then come back at night, walking by myself or riding my skateboard and stuff. And then I started thinking back about that. I was like I can't even, like, one, I was thinking back of that. I was like, if I did that now, like, I would be terrified the whole time and stuff.
Right.
And that's just, like, goes to show the innocence of kind of, like, being a kid and stuff like that. And, like, you just don't think of those stuff. But as you grow older, you become more of, like, aware. Like, you just have so much more stuff you start becoming paranoid of.
Yeah.
But I was thinking back at that. I was like, dude, like, what the frick was wrong with me doing that? Like, walking back.
Oh, you could have got snatched.
Yeah.
Like that,
yeah,
like,
yeah. I'm thinking back at it. I was like, dude, you could have gotten snatched so many times or like this. And that was one of those where, yeah, in the moment, never thought of it. But it's just, as you look back at it, it's easy. But it's like, for a girl, like, can't imagine.
No.
Like, you can, like, it's just, it's crazy, man. It's ridiculous.
No, I think back to a lot of things that, like, that we did as kids, as guys, like as boys.
Yeah.
That, like, I would never let my kid do.
Yeah.
Like, and I, like, never. And and it's crazy because you think, I remember, you know, thinking back in the days when, like, everybody in the block or everybody in the cul-de-sac had kids and y'all hung out in, like, the summers and stuff like that. It's crazy, like, the way that human interaction has, like, changed over the past, like, 10 to 15 years has been absolutely crazy because it's rare when you come somewhere and like people don't come through, knock on the door and hey, is so and so there? Like, can we play and stuff like that? Like, it's kind of just weird and different, and you know, you gotta know everybody before somebody leaves to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, it was kind of like we just did whatever. And especially like again, you talk about wanting to be outside like all the time. Like,
yeah.
Boy,
it's.
Our parents are trying to kick us out.
Yeah, it was
like,
go.
Yeah, like,
yeah, legit. I'd be gone. Come back 7 hours later, mom's fine or whatever.
Yeah,
like, that's if I didn't sneak out. If I snuck out, got that ass beating. But I had it coming.
Right. That's right.
But
that's
yeah,
right.
it was crazy, dude. Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah. The other thing, bruh. My man Klay Thompson started off the season shooting horribly.
He was like 5 of 30.
5 of 36.
Yeah.
First 4 or 5 games, he was 5 of 36 from the 3. And then yesterday, he came and dropped 52 points in 3 quarters. Not even a full 3 quarters. It was like 27 minutes.
The thing that there are a lot of things about this because I didn't get to watch it. It was Chicago, and it was on local stuff, and I don't have League Pass.
Yeah.
So, some of the things that I saw about this game after the fact made no sense. For instance, of the 24 or the 14 threes that he made, he took 5 dribbles. The other thing that blew my mind was he made 14 threes and took 24
shots.
Somebody explain to me how you take 24, not shots, how do you take 24 threes and still shoot 58%?
Yeah.
Elite 3-point shooters shoot around in the low 40s.
40s, yeah.
Right?
Dude,
he shot
shooting
58%.
Lights out.
and he did it like he was waving at the Chicago crowd clapped him off the court.
Yeah. No, they were
With 4
cheering.
minutes-
You
with
would have thought it
4
was
minutes.
a home game.
With 4 minutes left in the third, he sat down.
Yep.
And people were like, "Put him in.
Yeah.
Put him back in the game."
Yeah, we want. They should have basically cheered for that because it was like, if we gotta watch this, the rest of this garbage, at least let us see him go for 80 or 90 at this point.
Chicago's hurt. They're a little bit thin, but and what's crazy is Clay's game completely drowned out the insanity of 92 points in a single half.
Bro, I saw that.
I thought my Bleacher Report
I saw
broke.
92-50, and I was like, is that the final?
Yeah.
Nope.
That's
Clicked on the photo, expanded, it
of
said
second.
halftime. I was like, oh, okay.
I thought my Bleacher Report app was broke.
And it's one of those things where it's like, it's not even really mad at Chicago because Chicago dropped 50. 50 is a normal halftime score.
Right.
I was like, okay,
Right.
Chicago like did their part, normalized. Golden State just went on steroids.
You remember when like if somebody dropped 65 and a half, they're like, "Oh shoot, like
that's a lot.
they hooping."
Yeah.
They hooping.
Yeah.
And now like when somebody drops 75, they're like, "Oh shoot, that's a lot of points." These cats hung 45 per quarter.
They could have. I wish
In the
they would have
first
dropped
half.
100. I wish they would have dropped 100 and a half.
It only would take 2 shots.
2 shots. 2
Couple
shots.
Yeah.
And
Oh
like
my gosh.
the thing about this now is, and there's just so many parts of it that's so great. One is the fact that like you can hate that team or whatever, say whatever you want about it. Man, one thing you can't ever deny is that they love playing with each other. Like they love that, like they love being a team. And the greatest example of it is Curry, the dude that has the record for most threes in a game, was hyping up Clay the most to break his record.
Yep.
He was the one
Like
that
force feeding the
force
guy.
feeding the dude. And that was great. And that's the great thing about the Warriors, where if someone's on a hot hand, it's not like, hey, I got to get mine.
Kirk gets pissed because they break their offense to
Break
try to
their
get the dude
offense
the
and
ball.
just beat the dude. And you watch, like, from midway second half to, like, half of the third quarter, how they were just forcing the ball to Clay. And no matter what Chicago tried, he was still, like, throwing it up. And it's not like Clay's known for his handles. Clay has a simple one bounce little, like, if he's going up to pump fake and then you come to jump, he'll just dribble to his right or left, pump fake or whatever, and then throw the shot up. He has a quick release. That's like his biggest weapon and stuff like that. And so this dude is just running around the court, pull up to a spot, get the ball, pump fake, or just straight up shoot it. Cash. And man, Chicago was just it's one of those sad parts because it happened with the Wizards last week when Curry was going off. It was just one of those, after every shot, their faces are like, it's almost like somebody wants to cry and it's just like, I don't know what else to do. I put my hand up. Like, what do you want me to do, coach? Take him out? That's got to be the most frustrating thing ever.
So we've been hearing this thing even prior to DeMarcus Cousins signing, that the Warriors have ruined the league, which I've stopped getting defensive about that because, you know, who in there, and there's so many dimensions to this. When you talk about Kevin Durant's decision, you talk about the ability for the Warriors to sign somebody like DeMarcus Cousins for 5 minutes. There's a lot of different things that go into it.
Yeah.
So I've stopped kind of being defensive on, did we ruin the league or didn't we? I'm more of an, like, maybe we did, maybe we didn't. The reality is their season is coming to an end.
Yeah.
And at some point, somebody else is going to be that team. Like, people don't think about this, but
Yeah.
LeBron literally went to the finals like 9 times in a row. So, like, if we're not talking about teams, we're talking about players. You know what I'm saying? That all being said, I underestimated. That game showed me that I underestimated what it meant for them to like wreck the league.
Yeah.
Because in a 5-day span, this is starting with the Wizards game. There's 3 different players that scored over 23 points in a single quarter. Steph scored 23 in the first quarter against the Wizards. The next game, KD scores 25 in the fourth quarter, I believe, against Brooklyn. And then the game after that, Klay scores what was like 26?
Yeah.
26 in the first quarter against Chicago. And I'm like, in a 5-day span, they had 3 different players score more than 23 points in a quarter. So it's like, it's kind of crazy. So when like DeMarcus Cousins comes and he starts playing, it's going to be interesting because it's like some people were like, oh, we're going to get this watered down version of DeMarcus because there's so many other people that shoot the ball. And then you look at a team that scores 92 points in a half and you go, oh no, everybody's eating. Everybody's eating. We ain't, there's nothing anybody got to worry about. My favorite part about this though is kind of by extension. First Take asked a question that made me laugh out loud because it made me think of Lakers fans because I hold a very special place for Lakers fans in my heart. And I'm curious to kind of get your input on this. First Take asked the question today, after Klay's game, does this prove that the Lakers need Klay Thompson?
Hell yeah.
yeah.
And it's not even for his shooting or whatever. Like, his shooting is a great plus minus. The Lakers cannot play a lick of defense right now. And the biggest problem with that starts with LeBron. Dude, if you watch these highlights from the first 5 games.
This is why I ask Ben the questions, guys.
LeBron is just over here slacking on defense. And it's one of those, he'll ask for like help defense on his guys or like he'll expect it. But when other guys, like their dude drives by him, LeBron's there in the paint, he just does the, like, honorary, I'm going to throw my hand up, kind of seem like I'm playing defense. Dude blows by. But his defense has been so bad. And I get it, like, he's aging and all that. But, like, at least look like you're trying to put effort because some of it, he has not been putting effort at all. And then also, he's been horrible shooting the 3. His 3-point stats are worse than Klay's.
Yes.
It's so bad.
This is where I'm proud of Lakers fans and where people don't have an excuse now for not understanding why Lakers fans, and some were really happy because, like, look at what
Kawhi's doing in Toronto.
Yes.
And look at what LeBron's doing right now. This is why I especially wanted Kawhi.
Right. And by extension, I'm not surprised when players like Jimmy Butler, when players like Kawhi, people were confused.
Yeah.
When they were like, oh, favorite destination Clippers. People were like, what do you mean? The more we watch Lakers games, the more we realize, oh yeah, these cats don't want any part of that.
No.
But here's where I'm proud of Lakers fans and where people will not have an excuse to rag on Lakers fans all year because this is their true colors and this is what we've been saying this whole time. And what Warriors fans, and it's crazy because the Warriors and Lakers fans have kind of been able to relate because we kind of have the same attitude about Kevin Durant. It's not that we don't like you. It's not that we like create this imaginary competition between you and Steph Curry. It's that when you hold on to the ball and you try to do everything yourself, our thing is you're not bigger than the team.
Yeah.
We don't care who you are.
And
did you win or did you lose?
Exactly.
Whereas LeBron can get a triple-double, Lakers fans don't care.
No.
That's why when Kobe took 50 shots, people go, oh, he scored, 40 points, but he did on 50 shots. Lakers fans don't care.
No.
Because Lakers fans go, did he win?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
And Kobe did the same
That's
thing
it.
also. He let it. It was like, that don't matter. We ain't win.
Right.
Yeah.
So I love it because we're in this place now where Lakers fans are going, listen, we don't care who you are. Jimmy Butler comes in. Was that in L.A.?
Yeah.
Butler was
no,
it?
That
or were they
was
in Mini?
That was in Mini.
Jimmy Butler comes out of the locker room and punked the Lakers, bro.
Punked them.
And Lakers fans are going.
And Jimmy Butler's on cruise control right now because he's just waiting to be traded off of Minnesota. Like, he has nothing to play for, but he's just like, part of it is just like, oh, LeBron here. You know what? I'm gonna just clown these dudes.
It was the ultimate bet.
Yeah.
Game. Like,
you can recap that game with bet in quotes.
Yeah, my favorite part about that game, and again, this is kind of the point that I'm trying to make, and then we can kind of keep going, is essentially there. There's been all this talk about the murals being defaced and all this stuff, yada yada. Lakers fans aren't intimidated by LeBron ruining Kobe's legacy.
No.
Lakers fans, a lot of them, I can't speak for all of them because a lot of fan bases have just people who just like the colors, or they from the city or whatnot, yada yada yada. There's a lot of cats who are Lakers fans that watch basketball, and the reality is we've been watching Cleveland play basketball for a lot. Why? Because they've been in the finals. And I'll tell you one thing: Lakers fans will not be able to tolerate all year is not playing defense, and then standing in front of the reporters after the game and blaming the young players for not playing defense.
Yep. Yeah.
Lakers fans ain't gonna have none of that.
No.
And they're gonna get sick because he's got a no trade clause.
When you're the one that's missing crucial free throws at the end of games,
slacking on D,
having turnovers, slacking D,
and then talking to the media, talking about how we being out of position, yada yada.
I'm getting impatient.
You're not gonna like me, right? You don't want to be around me. Oh boy.
Okay.
Lakers fans gonna be sick of that real quick.
Yeah. It's like, first of all, this is only 7 games into it, and the frustrating and like it'd be one thing if you guys were getting blown out and stuff.
Yeah.
You've lost all of the past games by like 4 or 5 points.
Yeah, this is fixable.
It's
stuff.
all close games and stuff, and so it's one of those. It's like, you play that defense at that one point earlier, or you make those free throws, or you go give just a little bit extra effort. That could have been the difference. That could have been a game changer. And so that's just like the most frustrating thing of it. And kind of going back to like what you were saying with the murals being vandalized and all that, is difference between LA and Cleveland, Miami, or wherever else is like, bro, Cleveland had nothing. Cleveland, the thought of you just even being there was enough for them.
Yes.
It's
bro,
like the Lakers have the most
ago,
illustrious history in all
Lakers
of sports.
Like, you ain't
One
God.
of the most, yeah. It's like, bro,
you ain't Jesus here.
We had God. Like, you're Jesus coming. Like, it's just like,
yeah, you ain't Jesus, bro.
Yeah.
You know how many stars LA's had?
Exactly.
You just won more on the list.
Yeah.
Cleveland, that's it.
Anyone,
that's all.
Anyone you saw that was a Lakers fan, quote unquote, that was super hyped about it, was born in like 2005 or past. Like,
yeah,
they're 10 right now. Yeah. And so, and they're like, I'm not saying we're not happy for having LeBron. We're happy for having him. But it was just one of those of like essentially handing the city over to him before they had even played, and writing his legacy off before he had even played. It was like, yo, let's roll down.
Best Laker ever.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all this notion of like, oh, they're going to be amazing and stuff like that. It's like, no, like he's not going to, like, no matter how great he is, he's not going to make the difference alone.
Yeah.
He can, but he won't. And we've seen it so far because, like, he just hasn't been putting the full effort into it.
Yeah. The whole, and this was my concern, and we talked about it in the pod, and we talked about it outside the pod. My concern, and especially after the quote of you don't want to be around me when I lose my patience thing, is Luke Walton, I'll say this first. Luke Walton, you will always have a place with the Golden State Warriors organization.
Dog, if they fire him 7 games into the season, I'm going to be so mad.
But I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think he's going to get fired. It'll just happen way later.
Yeah.
The first thing that will happen will be somebody who should not be traded will get traded.
Yeah.
Somebody who shouldn't get traded is going to get traded.
The only person...
And people are going to be sick.
The only person I'm fine... Well, not even fine. I'm weird about it because I've been like... I feel the most sacrificable. That's not a word, but I'm gonna just make it a word.
I like
the
it
most
though. I like it.
Sacrificable player on the Lakers from the young core is probably Josh Hart.
Yeah,
like Josh Hart, you can move. Lonzo Ball has shown so much potential, and he's been shooting well.
Yep,
he's been shooting well, and when he wants to, he plays phenomenal defense. Like I was watching that. I think we were playing Denver. Yeah, we were playing Denver that game, and he had like towards the end, he was strapping up Jamal Murray, and like they have a little history and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
they
that
do.
was part of the incentive. But like, there was just one place he pressured him, stole the ball, made the layup, and he was just kind of like, you felt that tenacity. He was like, yeah, let's do this, and that's like that was one of the things Laker fans loved about Kobe, because when Kobe was on the court, he was an assassin.
Oh yeah,
and like
on both ends.
Yeah, and you don't see that with LeBron. Like LeBron ruined his legacy 2 games into the season when he went and put his hands over Chris Paul after a team fight broke out.
I'm telling you, LA fans are fit to be fed up.
2 games in, and I was already done with dude.
You're already like, oh, you don't have our back, clearly.
Yeah, I don't care if he's your godfather, godmother, godgrandfather. I don't care who he is to your kid. Like on the court, that's work. That's business. You talk about when your brothers are down, don't get up, wait for your brothers to come get you or whatever.
And then the next day,
yeah,
you're nowhere to be found.
Nowhere. Like, stop with that. Stop with that. Stop with all this nonsense, dude. It's ridiculous.
I saw somebody say the other day, like, imagine being Luke and having spent an entire season, knowing that y'all weren't going to win anything, spending an entire season installing defensive principles, only to sign a star who not only won't play defense, but will blame it on you after the game.
Yeah.
Like that, like you spent an entire throwaway season just installing defensive principles, only to sign a guy who won't play defense and then blames other cats for being out of position. That's mind blowing.
That's the worst.
Oh my gosh.
That's the worst.
Look, LA can be a playoff team, and it will be primarily because of LeBron. But LA, this ain't gonna cut it for LA fans, bro.
No.
Y'all thought they were insecure about Kobe. It had very little to do with that, bro.
No.
Kobe cats been watching hoop for the past 5 years.
Kobe paid his dividends. Yeah, Kobe did his time. But this partially because y'all hyped it up, all you Bron fans. Bron's gonna come in. Bron's better than Kobe. Bron's savior and stuff like that. Bron's gonna make. That's
not even what we're talking about right
now. No. Like if you really talking about it, look at the film. Look at the facts.
Yeah.
Dude's not playing any defense. He's been horrible in the last 5 minutes of games and like helping the Lakers close out and stuff like that. And 7 games in, I'm sure they're gonna fix it. I'm having faith they're gonna fix it. And part of the problem is just LeBron's not in the East anymore. And this is my single greatest example. I think this season's gonna be my single greatest example for why I will never see him as the greatest because he coasted in the East. He coasted in the East. The competition is way harder on the West. It's way harder. It's been the past 10, 20 years, however long you want to look back at it. And, it's just dumb.
And that was the thing that cracked me up last night because I think Bron Twitter's finally getting fed up with Warriors fans talking trash about LeBron. And the whole, retort to the Warriors fans talking trash about LeBron was, LeBron lives in y'all's heads rent-free because of 2016. It's like, well, number one, we lost a 3-1 lead. Like, that hurts. You expect fans to not be mad about that?
You guys got a player suspended for something he shouldn't have been suspended. He wouldn't have gotten suspended for if the series was 2-2.
Right.
Or if the Warriors, or not the Warriors, if the Cavs were up on the series. Like, any other situation, he wouldn't have gotten suspended.
Yeah.
The only other situation he would have gotten suspended if it was 3-0.
Yeah. So,
but it was 3-1.
Basically, one suspension away from 4 championships in a row. So, if you're gonna fault fans for being upset about that, then you gotta check your logic in the first place. That's the first thing. Second thing is, what you thought going from the East to our division was all of a sudden gonna make the trash talk go away?
Yeah.
Bruh, you in the West Coast now. You're in the Western Conference,
You got to play
bro.
Houston 4 times. You got to play Warriors
Welcome
4
to
times.
Welcome to the NBA.
Yeah. You got to play all the... No, dude. No.
Y'all went to Minnesota thinking Karl Anthony Towns is soft. Andrew Wiggins ain't got
they got all this issues.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff
ain't got the
going
mind for
on.
it. And Jimmy just trying... literally, and you said something
Minnesota
that
was
so,
a playoff team
oh my
last
God,
season.
Dude.
Minnesota was a playoff team last season.
Y'all got punked by a dude that doesn't even want to play in the jersey that he's currently wearing.
Out of the 7 teams we've played so far, 6 of them have been playoff teams. It's like, and I know that's not saying much because like the East, you could look at it, but like the playoff teams here is much different from the playoff teams in the East.
Look at Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City was that team. We're
Struggling.
like, yo, this team could be a 2 or 3 seed in the West, getting mopped
Struggling.
by the Clippers.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the NBA, fam.
Yeah.
It goes uphill from here. Like like as a fan and as a player, it's only uphill from here. Like this is a bloodbath out here. Like the fact the Warriors are 6-1 right now is a blessing because all the other top 5 seeds of the West last year are struggling. So, man,
It's
anyway, NBA wild, bro.
yeah.
NBA wild.
Nah. I'm gonna need Bron to start playing some defense. Lakers start getting some dubs.
And please don't throw your boys under the bus again.
Bro,
We're not even 10 games in. You got 2 strikes already.
Exactly. And my thing that makes me mad about it is like they're showing some stat where he's had seasons where he started like 8 and 9. I think he started with the Heat. They were like 8 and 9 and stuff like that. It's like you've had way worse starts. This is 7 games in. Chill out, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to see me when I lose my patience. I get you're frustrated and stuff like that.
Right.
We don't want to hear that crap. Like you have every like easy thing to be like, yo, we're 7 games in. I'm on a new team. We're still figuring this out and stuff. But like you're gonna do this thing of already throwing your team on there, like, and they're young players. They're all young players. This is not. You don't have Kyle Korver. You don't have J.R. Smith. You don't have guys that have been in the league 7+ years or stuff like yeah, you got Lansons, but like the core players you're playing around are all young dudes, and so you're essentially.
I'm telling you, if I was Brandon Ingram, bro, and I can't speak for any of these dudes. I can't speak for Lonzo. Can't speak for Hart. Can't speak for Brandon Ingram. Can't speak for Kuzma. But if I'm on Twitter, on the bus, on the plane, or wherever, or in the ice bath, and I see this talking about you don't want to be around me when I lose my patience, my first thought, like for me, and again, I'm not going to speak for those guys, is that a threat? Like, we're not even 10 games in. Is that a threat? Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about right now? I understand you trying to motivate us, whatever, but it's early. You out here making it sound like what happened to the Cavs is about to happen. Like what happened to the Cavs at the trade deadline is about to happen right now.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not even 10 games
7
into the
games
season.
in, you're
Yeah,
gonna
you
clean
crazy.
house.
Yeah, bro. So again, this is where I'm proud of Lakers fans because they standing up for the purple and gold, and this is what people have been trying to say for all summer. Which had nothing to do with Kobe.
Yeah,
It had everything to do with: are you going to come in here and win games?
That's
yes
all
or no?
we need to know.
Yes or
that's
no?
all we need to know.
That's all. That's all we care about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, West Coast basketball, bro. Yeah. For some reason, Bronsexuals thought that my man's coming to the division meant we were going to talk less trash.
No,
Welcome.
it's gonna be
Welcome.
criticized even more.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I don't care. Like I told
We
people
a
from the
bus
get
ride
go.
away.
I told the people from the get go, him being on my team doesn't change the fact. Like, yo,
Are you going to win games?
yeah,
Or are you going to lose them?
okay,
It's
that's
very
great. You did
serious.
this on that side.
Yeah.
You're on here. All right. Like, you're every night when you're playing in the Staples Center, you got banners of the greatest players ever.
What team took them to 7 last year? Was it Milwaukee?
No, it was Indiana. Garbage. We're gonna go to break on that. Garbage, dog.
No disrespect to Depot because my man is hooping. all
No,
right?
he's hooping, but that just goes to prove our point, bro. You got taken to 7.
But Indiana struggles to make the playoffs if they're in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, they will. Nah, Indiana's like not even close to making the playoffs.
Right. All right.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be back. Yeah, we back. Culture Discourse Podcast. I don't think we ever introduced ourselves.
Not really.
Segment. Thanks for listening. If you've been listening, Culture Discourse Podcast. The voice you are hearing, it is Ben Felix.
And across the table is Lindell Chase. We're excited to be back with y'all. Sorry
Yeah.
for the lack of introduction, but second half of the episode,
Right here.
man.
I almost introduced myself as Ben Brizzy Felix. and
Wouldn't have been surprised.
And story behind Brizzy is every black guy, like I can guarantee you, at least 95% black guys, African Americans,
Show me the numbers.
at one point have had a rap name, have given themselves a rap
A
name.
nickname with Z's in it.
Yep.
or young. The
Yep.
word young, Lil. Yeah, that's
Yep.
it. That's it. Or with some
Young,
Z's.
Lil, or Z's.
Yep.
Z's. Mine was Brizzy. This was right around. I think I got it off of Chris Breezy and Drizzy Drake.
Right.
I couldn't do Breezy because Chris Brown was doing Breezy. I was like, Brizzy. Ooh, I like that. So I coined the rap name Brizzy. Did you ever coin a rap name for yourself?
Nah, bro.
Or were you in the 5%?
I was in the 5%, man. I didn't coin one for myself. I had all kinds of nicknames. None of them were really rap names or anything like that, Brett. But no,
My other rap name
I'm aware
I had,
of how regular of a thing it is. Yeah.
Yeah, no. My other rap name I had that was given to me was Akon.
No. I remember when you were in high school.
Yep. Nah, not even high school, middle school.
No, that's when I first heard about it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out. I was like, nah, it can't be because he's so dark, bro. Stop.
Dog. And part of the issue was I grew up in an area where it was, like I've mentioned many times, it was mainly Hispanics and Asians,
Right.
which I loved. I would never change or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was the only black guy. Like there was like 3 of black people at the school I went to, and so I was the black guy, and I'm fairly dark, but I don't know, I'm Akon dark.
I know.
I got that was kind of the nickname I got stuck with, and I just kind of went with it. And at the time, Akon was popping, so I was like,
oh yeah,
I'll take this. At least I'm not Michael
Notice
Black's
you.
son. Like, yeah, that could have been worse. So Akon's not a terrible name to be associated with, but yeah. I saw something on Twitter. It was about like some show or movie being remade, and it made me think of kind of the opposite of that. What are some shows or movies that you don't ever want remade? Because everything now, it seems like everyone's run out of ideas, so the thing now is just like, what can we remake? Almost everything coming out seems like it's is something that's remade, like A Star Is Born.
Yeah,
that's a 3rd remake or 4th remake, something like that.
Off the
Halloween.
Oh my gosh,
Halloween.
Okay, so what's cool about that, and I've never seen
was that a remake
single,
or is this an extension of?
So there have been so many remakes. I looked it up. Because the thing that piqued my interest was that Jamie Lee Curtis is in this new one.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a second. Jamie Lee Curtis was in the original.
Yeah.
This is basically like a sequel, like way down the road. The original Michael Myers dude, he gets out of prison and it goes after the original character from the first one. So I was like, oh, that's kind of dope.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And like, she's an adult. Right, and has had to like deal with her past and this whole thing.
Traumatic.
But then I looked at all the Halloween movies that are out.
Yeah,
there are sequels that have been remade. Like it has been remade and rehashed so many times it's ridiculous. But this movie that's recently come out,
it's a sequel.
It's more of a true sequel to like the original run.
That's
off the top of my head. Back to the Future.
Yeah,
that one doesn't really need to be.
I know, and that's one where people would you can remake it, and with how technology is now, it'd
be dope.
It would be dope and everything, but that's not the point of it.
Right.
And that was the thing that made Back to the Future super unique, was the fact like It was just like that. It was the way it was. So that, yeah, definitely I would agree with that. For me, the first thing that came to my head was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh my gosh.
That show,
Leave it alone.
my all-time favorite show,
Leave
and
it alone.
just don't ever touch it.
Leave it
Don't
alone.
ever touch it. And the only way I think I would have ever accept it, and I still might, like a rendition of it, is if it's something back with Will Smith and his family now.
Right.
Because like you look at the Smiths, God, they like are running social media.
Yeah.
It is.
They're so good at it.
I've talked about
It's
it, but
insane.
Will Smith's surge on social media has been insane.
Yeah.
And so his wife's doing stuff like she has her own daytime talk show and all.
Mhm.
So they're killing it. So the only way is if you do a spin-off, and not even a remake, just a straight spin-off of that, where like Will's now basically Uncle Phil, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And he's got Jaden and Willow to whatever. But I think any show with that family, going off the premises of Fresh Prince, that would be an interesting show.
But if they were to like redo it, where they like recast everybody,
Yeah, no,
I ain't
no,
trying to have that.
no.
You want to do like a sequel spinoff?
Y'all gonna
I'm cool with
gentrify the
that.
crap out of that. And
Oh my
I ain't
gosh.
about to.
Oh no,
No,
pass.
It would be a hard pass.
Oh.
And the comedy and all that would not be the same. Like you couldn't keep it the way it was.
Yeah, and again, I've used this term before in what's called nostalgia bias.
Yeah.
Whereas one group of movies that I wouldn't say that they're really good, but they're not nearly as bad as people think they are because they've convinced themselves that the original product was better, and I'm just sorry, it's not.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars. Star Wars is one of those things, bro, that outside of Empire Strikes Back, those movies are so freaking corny, bro.
Yeah.
The idea is fantastic. The setting is fantastic. The characters are fantastic. The acting is trash.
Yeah.
The acting is trash.
It's
The
bad.
lines are trash. And blame George Lucas all you want. But the reality is Force Awakens and Last Jedi are not nearly as bad as people think they are or have convinced themselves they are. Because I get it. Especially if you're an 80s kid. You grow up and Luke Skywalker and the Force and lightsabers are the single greatest thing to have ever been invented in sci-fi.
Yeah.
If you're an 80s kid, I understand, because like the lightsabers and the Force and Luke Skywalker are like the greatest thing to have ever been invented in a sci-fi and stuff like that. But I think sometimes we hold stuff that came out when we were kids a little bit too high.
Yeah.
And again, a good an example of it being like don't touch it. Fresh Prince is a great example.
Yeah.
Again, I think of
And that's just one of those shows where it's like it encompasses that time from the fashion to everything.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to remake it now, it just seems dumb. It's like you're not making a 80s show. You're making a 2000 show, and it wouldn't make any sense. But like I understand what you're saying with something with Star Wars where the technology has advanced way more. And we kind of already talked about this with Back to the Future. Back to the Future was unique because you could say the same, the technology and all, but Back to the Future was way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
So like
The story was dope. The
Yeah.
whole concept was dope. Like
yeah, and so you try to do Back to the Future now. So many other shows are doing stuff that's way ahead of time.
Right.
You're not like
Right.
you're not gonna give me something that's mind blowing that I haven't like seen before. That's like, yo, that's crazy that you did this. Or like, oh, that's a flying car, dude. Every other shows like you could find something with flying car. So
right. No,
it's just
I agree.
the creativity limits on that gets harder.
One show that I'm surprised has not been modernized, and I guess kind of almost like everything kind of from this area, and I guess Girl Meets World is kind of like the same idea. And we were talking about Fresh Prince, where it's kind of like a spin-off sequel thing, where it's this dude's daughter and all that stuff. One show I'm surprised hasn't been remade is like a show like Saved by the Bell. Like the whole concept of like, people going to school and like that whole thing. And, I guess there's enough of that already on TV, but Saved by the Bell is one of those I'm surprised that has not been remade. But no, I'd be curious like to put some thought in it and actually think about what would you not want to get touched.
Yeah.
Because I imagine if I like sat and thought about it, there would be a handful of things I'd be like, yeah, leave that alone. Leave that the heck alone.
I think quickly, it's still early for these to get remade, but I think the Harry Potter series don't ever need to be remade. Don't ever need to be remade. Those, like, they were just...
You don't understand, like, an entire generation that, like, the generation that enjoyed those movies the most were the same age that Harry Potter was when he got
basically
his
grew
invitation
up,
to
yeah.
Hogwarts. Literally,
Yeah.
like, we were all, like, 9, 10, 11, because I think it's 10 or whatever when you
Yeah.
get your invitation
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. And I wasn't even really a big, like, a Harry Potter fan. I stumbled upon it after the fact, and I was like, yo.
I've read every one of those books and seen most of the movies. And, yeah, that was one of those things for me. Like, I'm a huge Harry Potter guy, and one of these days when I get back into reading, I'll read all three, or not all three, but all of them again. But, yeah, it was one of those, essentially, a book came out, and it was kind of following... like our age group, and it was like kind of along the same path, and we were growing along with this series, which was just such a unique thing.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. Like,
You talk about a story that defined a generation.
oh yeah,
J.K. Rowling freaking provided literature with a bomb.
just it
was awesome.
So well done.
Yeah, Harry Potter's one of them. Books and movies. Again, with literature, you can't really mess with it because it's like you don't rewrite a book.
Yeah.
But like Lord of the Rings, another one of those, the original trilogy with movies where it's like,
oh yeah.
They were so ahead of their time in the things that they were doing.
Yeah.
You can't even begin to attempt.
Yeah, and even like with
like
The Hobbit and stuff like that. That's like off another book and stuff. So that's not them.
Gosh, they put the Harry Potter movies on TV every day.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Every time on Freeform or on TNT.
I'm catching, especially around the holiday times. They just always got it going on. Always got it going on.
Every week, I'm about to watch a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. Let's see.
Which movies haven't? I gotta ask this. Which of the movies have you not seen?
From I think it's a couple of last ones. I think 6 and 7.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those are legit.
I know.
A little bit different from the book because they have to pack so much. That's why they split the last two.
Yeah.
Or the last book into 2 movies because it was just like.
So it's 8 movies actually. Yeah. I forget.
But no, Half-Blood, which is 6, is great, and then Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. I had to go back and rewatch them because a couple of them I've only seen once.
And that's like that movie series. I think is one of the first movies that like I had to see at midnight.
Yeah,
I had to see when it came out.
So I had a unique Harry Potter experience. I'm not even sure if we would have gotten in trouble or like our school would have gotten in trouble for this. We actually were reading them in school as they were coming out. Like the first 3.
Same.
The first 3
like
especially.
everyone in school as they were coming out. Starting in elementary for me.
Mm-hmm. Same here. So I had read the first 3. Actually read the books. After that, I stopped because there was a little bit of a gap. When the movies came out, I literally, and I didn't even want to because there were so many people around me that read the books and wanted to see the movies. Mad stuff got spoiled for me. Like just detail stuff. So I was like, so the motivation for me to get back into it was kind of like ruined. So I had at that point read the first 3. I didn't watch a single movie until the 5th one came out. And me and my dad were just trying to kill some time. So we go see Order of the Phoenix in theaters, which I was reminded of how dope it was the other day. Because I watched it on in the movies. I'm like, I'm kind of curious to see how this kind of compares to the book.
Yeah.
But we're watching Order of the Phoenix, which is when that whole series really turns up. Like, it really turns. It really turns up. Like serious black guys in that one. That's when you really like. That's when the Ministry of Magic finally admits out loud like Voldemort's back. All that stuff. That's when that all that stuff happens in that one book. And my dad and I looked at each other. We were like, when that movie was over, we got to start over.
This kind of hype.
We got to start over. We got to start over for real. Yeah, because Order of the Phoenix is the one where Harry Potter is like secretly training, the students of Hogwarts like kind of underground
Uh-huh.
because the current administration won't let them do anything.
Yeah.
So it is.
No.
So I read 3, didn't touch the movies. The first movie I watched was the 5th one, and I literally started from scratch and went all the way to the end.
And
So
in
it was
a
kinda
way,
wild.
and in a way, when you look at Harry Potter, you could almost think, I don't know the timeline of this. I'm just kind of speaking, and I might be wrong or whatever. But Harry Potter, in a way, paved the way for Game of Thrones because, like,
Yeah.
just with this, like,
Magic,
magic,
freaking
this,
dragons.
I don't know what's the term for the genre of it.
I guess fantasy.
Fantasy,
Yeah.
fantasy or whatever. Harry Potter came along, and once they started making the movies were above and beyond. I mean, you got a Harry Potter world now in Universal. Not Universal.
Oh yeah,
Is it Universal or is it Disney?
I think it might be Universal, the Potter World.
Yeah, Potter World or something.
Ridiculous,
Like,
man.
it's just, how that much that's popped off. It's crazy. But I found this list online with some of, like, the top movies that don't need to be remade. And it's a pretty solid list. So, number 1, they got Forrest Gump. No argument.
Yeah, don't
with
touch
that.
it.
No argument with that.
Don't touch
Forrest
it.
Gump.
Any Tom Hanks movie
Yeah.
is not in the.
Yeah, Forrest Gump, instant classic when it came out. I'm assuming. I don't know. When did it come out?
Oh, Forrest Gump. I wanna
94.
say
94. Oh, when I was born. Yeah. I just said it's an instant classic. Godfather. Totally
Don't
agree.
touch it.
Godfather, so good. This one, yes. Shawshank Redemption.
Don't touch it.
Simply because you can never get somebody to play Morgan Freeman's character better than Morgan Freeman.
No,
Morgan Freeman's
I
been
feel like
old
that
the
applies
past
to.
50 years.
I
He's
feel like
such
that
a...
applies to any Morgan Freeman role.
No, yeah. There's not a single Morgan Freeman role you could name me, and it's like, oh, this person could have played it better. Same goes with Samuel L. Jackson. Those are the two people. Him,
That's
I'll throw
amazing.
Denzel in there also.
I was gonna say Denzel. I'm thinking Denzel roles. Who would you rather put there, bro?
Nobody. Yeah. Denzel, Samuel L. Jackson, and Morgan Freeman are my top 3 for I don't want to see anyone else playing their role. Nobody. Next on this list, Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one because
yeah.
I don't know.
How interesting would it be though, not to necessarily remake it in the same
Spin-off?
time period? How interesting would it be to modernize it? Same story.
That's
But
a
to have
thought
it in, like,
that
the
crossed my
2010s,
mind because
that
I
would
don't
be
think you can
interesting.
necessarily like trying to remake it would be dumb because it's like it just I don't think it would hold the same weight,
right.
but it would kind of be in a way of like what Spike Lee did with Black Klansman,
Yeah.
where just tying it to now.
Mhm.
I think that'd be really
That would be
unique
fascinating.
and yeah, it'd be pretty dope. Silence of the Lambs. I've never seen that. Have you seen that?
Oh, that's what's his name? Hello, Clarice. That's
Jodie Foster.
no, it's the freaking Hannibal Lecter movie.
Oh,
That's
the Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it like a
Yeah.
scary? Whatever,
Oh
or
yeah,
is it-
oh yeah. It's a like psycho thriller horror type thing.
Oh
Yeah, I can see that mainly because it's iconic.
yeah.
It was a trendsetter for the genre, and it was much more than just horror. But yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. They got 2 movies here. I'm a big Quentin Tarantino movie or a
Don't touch
Quentin
it.
Tarantino fan.
It's,
And so-
it's always too soon
Yeah.
to remake a Quentin Tarantino
Yeah.
movie.
First of all, yeah. Don't even do it. But the 2 movies you could definitely not even ever try to make is Pulp Fiction and Goodfellas.
Why? Yeah, why even try?
Just like so many legendary actors
yeah.
in those films.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's 100 years from now. Don't ever try to remake those movies. Classics.
I feel like The Matrix is another one of those where it's like,
Oh yeah,
just don't.
yeah. The
We're
Matrix.
fine.
The Matrix is the same, where like the technology was just ahead of its time and like
Yeah.
the idea and stuff like that. And you can make the Matrix now when it would be dope and all, but it's just like
Well, that's the thing about
was-
The Matrix.
it
You
was
can
a
make
mo-
it look better,
Yeah.
but the wow moments, especially with the 1st
you're not gonna.
one,
Yeah,
you're not gonna get
you're
that
not gonna
back.
get that.
You're not gonna get that back of when he does bullet time for the first time.
Yeah.
And we actually talked about when we talked about iconic movie scenes.
Uh-huh.
When we talked about when he dodges bullets for the first time, and when Morpheus says he's the one, yada yada yada, the whole thing. You can make it look better, but you're not that. I mean, the first time we ever saw this dude dodging bullets, we lost our minds, bro.
Oh yeah,
we lost.
Just everybody was doing that.
But I'm curious,
breaking their.
I'm curious what else is on this list.
One that I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake already, but I'm glad they didn't, is The Goonies.
Yeah.
That one.
There has been whispers about that for a long time.
Yeah. That's like, because.
That's another one to be on TV all the time.
Have they remade The Sandlot? I feel like, or have
they made some sequels, but they have not remade.
Okay. That's, yeah.
That's
one I feel like.
Ones?
That's one I don't think will survive because I think somebody will try to remake it.
Yeah, I can understand The Goonies. And that's another one, too, where when you go back and watch the movie, and this is coming from somebody where Goonies is one of my favorite movies of all time. When you go back and watch the movie, you're like, everything about this is
it's not a kid's movie.
It's not a kid's movie, and it's also like mad corny, and the actor's not that great.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter because the adventure itself is like,
could
you imagine this happening to our group of friends?
You and
like,
your
that's
friends.
always
that's
like, the thing.
Is the wow factor.
So I could see him remaking it, but like, and it could do a good job. I would. For me, we already kind of have Goonies.
Yeah.
In a very different genre.
With
for me,
Stranger Things?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit the nail around the head. Like that is this generation's Goonies.
Yeah, it is.
In a big way.
I still have refused to start that.
Because of the hype?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I think
I
think until the show's done, I will go through it. But for me, I don't know
blessed.
why.
You're gonna get blessed
I
so
don't know
hard.
why.
I can't wait. And like it's sort of, and I understand because I'm kind of the same way. Well,
Yeah.
I'll chill.
Yeah.
I'll hang back.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, look, listen, I'm gonna wait until because my thing is and part of it is I don't want to do it because everybody else is doing it. Part of it's that, but part of it's really like I want to go in with a clean palette. Where sometimes we can trick ourselves into thinking something is either bad or good based on what other people were saying at the time.
Yeah.
Whereas if you watch it when nobody's talking about it, then you can kind of go in with like a fresh mind.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to when you do watch it because
I've heard
good.
I've heard good stuff.
It's good.
So these next two movies, they're on my all-time favorite movie list. Grease and A Christmas Story. I watch A Christmas Story every year, Christmas time. Love that movie. Got into it with my friends middle school. They kind of like introduced me to the movie, and like I can quote almost all the movie because I've seen it so much. But it's just it's one of those. I think it's just more of like the sentiment of like me and my friends back in California used to watch it all the time, and so I just from then always been my movie. But yeah, I love that movie, and that's one of the same movies where the humor of it was so great, and like it has some cheesy, corny factors to it, like his mom dressing his brother up in like 20 layers and all that, and him swearing, like little stuff like getting in trouble for swearing and stuff. All that you try to make humor of it now, it just doesn't hold because kids, 5-year-olds are dropping the F-bombs on every movie now. So that movie was just special in itself, and everyone, I want the red rifle, BB gun, whatever. Yeah, everyone knows that line.
You shoot your eye.
You'll
out,
shoot
kid.
your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
And then Grease, just don't. Grease was made for that time, for it being made perfect. Then. You can't try to make a movie. Right. It just don't.
Sound of Music.
Sound of Music.
Don't touch.
Yeah.
Do not touch, especially. And again, this is in a time. This movie came out in a time where people legit remembered stuff that had like the political and the war backdrop of Sound of Music.
Yeah,
there were people alive when this movie came out that remembered like when that. It's just very specific to its time and like all that stuff. But no, Sound of Music, bro. That's one that's like I have a soft spot for musicals. And I'm not a musical aficionado.
Same.
I've missed a lot of them.
No, I like musicals also.
Friggin', I don't know if you've ever seen Singing in the Rain. Incredible. One of the greatest dancing and singing bits of all time is in it. Of all time is in that movie. Sound of Music, fantastic. Yeah. Those are ones where I'm just kind of like, don't touch them. Don't. Just leave them alone.
Another one that goes along with The Goonies is Stand By Me.
Oh
That's
my
just
gosh.
great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie. And if you're named after a great song, like
Yeah.
you definitely
Wait,
don't.
which
need
one
it.
is that? Is that the Morgan Freeman movie?
No. That's
Remind me which one that one is.
That's the. Here, I'll read the description for you.
I was thinking of Lean on Me.
No,
It's
no.
another movie with a song name.
It's a 1986 American coming-of-age film directed by Rob Reiner, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Stand By Me tells the story of 4 boys in a small town in Oregon who go on a hike to find a dead body of a missing child.
Yeah.
So, it's been a minute since I've watched it.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta go back and watch that, but it's really good. And the ending is phenomenal, especially when they play Stand By Me on it. It just has you all in the feels. But couple last few ones I got on this list. Yeah, we said The Matrix. It's on here.
Yep.
And they got Jumanji on here, but yikes. They made that.
What's cool about that one is that one's technically. What's crazy is it's a spinoff.
spin-off.
That takes place in.
Yeah, I guess that's
it's weird because
yeah.
Jumanji, the thing about Jumanji, the original one, is it takes place in America, whereas the sequel takes place inside the board game.
Yeah,
and it exists in the same universe where it's like they make references to Robin Williams' character. So
yeah, I guess
I was glad because when I heard that they were gonna do that movie like a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it
when
didn't need to be.
Yeah, when I found out that it wasn't like we're gonna do the same story over again, I was like, okay, that's a relief because that's a classic.
Yeah, that is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Basically, any Robin Williams movie too, you can bump that. Don't
touch it.
Don't touch it. I'll give y'all a pass for Aladdin. I'll give y'all a pass because I want to see a live action Aladdin. But other than that, man,
they have Taxi Driver on here. Didn't they remake that with
Queen
Jamie
Latifah?
Foxx? What's that one with that's Baby Driver? I'm thinking of Baby Driver.
I was gonna say the Jamie Foxx movie that had to do with taxis was you see the movie Collateral with Tom Cruise.
I don't think I have.
And that one's wild. If you ever see that one, that one's wild. So
Really?
Jamie Foxx is a taxi driver. He picks up a guy who is a hitman, and he has Jamie Foxx drive him around the city, like literally he's driving around to people who he's gonna kill. That movie's
That's
nuts.
wild.
It's Tom Cruise,
That's
and
pretty
Jamie
wild.
Foxx. That one's dope. That one's a forgotten one, but
That's pretty wild.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the original.
I don't think I've seen Taxi Driver either. I thought it was Baby Driver, but another Quentin Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs. Just
don't touch it.
Just don't touch any Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Don't ever. I will.
I feel like that's how it's eventually
Unless
going to
it's
be.
Quentin Tarantino, and even Quentin Tarantino, don't remake your movie.
I feel like that's how it's eventually going to be with like 10 years from now with any non-Batman Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh yeah.
Where like 10 years from now we're going to want to be like, "Hey, do we redo Inception?" And the answer is no.
Yeah.
The answer is no. I forgot you haven't seen that one yet.
Oh yeah.
Do we remake The Prestige? No, you don't remake The Prestige. Do we remake Interstellar? Please don't touch Interstellar.
So
leave it alone.
One interesting one they have on here is Blade Runner. I haven't seen the original. Have you?
Yes.
Have you seen the new one?
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that one?
So the new one is a sequel.
Okay.
So it's not a remake. Both are excellent. Blade Runner, and this is all I can say about the first one, really, is all these movies and shows that have come out that talk about artificial intelligence and what qualifies as humanity, what doesn't.
Yeah.
Blade Runner was doing that before anybody. Basically the synopsis of Blade Runner is Blade Runners are essentially their job. They're kind of like cops, but their job is Harrison Ford's job is to investigate a murder and apprehend a artificial intelligence.
Oh wow.
And over the course of the movie, there are like ridiculous twists and turns.
So this first one came out like in 82, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's way ahead of like
correct
what we're gonna have to be fearing essentially now.
Correct. They've been having that
That's
conversation
wild.
of like what's human, what's not.
Yeah.
They've been asking that question for almost 40 years.
That's crazy.
So a lot of the shows when you Altered Carbon, even farther back in the early 2000s with iRobot, stuff like that. Like Blade Runner they were the first. They were the first.
That's crazy.
And that's what makes the sequel so great. Is everybody was worried. They're like, Blade Runner is a genre definer.
Yeah.
Because
I saw the trailer for the new one and it looks so good. And that's one I've been wanting to watch, but I'm gonna definitely try to find the original first. Watch that, and then
it's epic. And watch the director's cut.
Yeah.
A way better cut of the movie. And then go watch Ryan Gosling's, because that movie's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm giving that a 9 at least. And it's really cool when you have the first movie in context too, even though they're so like chronologically they're so far apart.
Yeah.
They're both really dope.
That's
really,
crazy.
really good.
So another one on this list, and this also on my like top favorite movies of all time, but also top favorite book of all time, is The Outsiders.
Oh,
bro, The Outsiders
no, bro,
is
I can't talk about
ridiculous.
it.
It's ridiculous because
the cast
on that movie was absurd.
Yes,
was so absurd, and
Dylan,
there's so many.
literally.
Like I can't even think of it on the top of my head.
Dylan's in there.
Tom Cruise.
Cruz is in there.
Let me pull it.
Estevez is in there.
So Thomas Howell, Matt Dillon, Ralph Macchio.
Yeah,
that's
Karate
Kid.
Yep.
You got Patrick Swayze.
Yep.
You got Rob Lowe.
Yep.
Diane Lane, Emilio Estevez,
and
Tom
his
Cruise.
brother. Isn't Martin Sheen in there too?
He might be. I'm not sure.
Either Martin or one of the other Sheen brothers.
Yeah, Tom Cruise, Leif Garrett. It was just ridiculous.
That's a movie that I would approve on a specific director, because I think
remake of it.
So that's a story that I'm heated at how lost that story has become.
Yeah.
That is one of the greatest and most tragic stories.
Oh, dude,
ever told.
It is, and that's one because.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's an interesting one where I think
I'd want to I think like in one of our early podcasts
because
I wanted to build what I really want to do is I wanted to build my ideal cast if they were to redo that movie. But it's almost like don't try.
Yeah.
Because I know that you're going to I know you're going to fail.
That thing is meant for us to look back at it, and the significance of it is like the story and everything's crazy, but it was just like somebody casted this movie, all these guys who, like Patrick Swayze, I think was the biggest name. Probably, right?
Yeah. Well, because Tom Cruise hadn't busted through
None of
those guys really had. Patrick Swayze was the oldest.
Ralph busted through from Karate Kid and stuff, and that was later in the line.
So many freaking stars.
Yeah, so many stars in that film, and nobody knew. And the story of it is phenomenal. I love the book. Love the movie. Watch it every time.
Pony Boy.
And it's great because I got introduced to the book in school. I read it. Remember reading it in middle school and also in high school, and all the stuff the book deals with social issues, basically poor versus rich, and all that. It's all still very relevant and stuff. And so that's a book that's like kind of should be taught for ages in school.
And that was the only reason why I was like, maybe we do get this. Maybe it's maybe it's a Ryan Coogler. Maybe it's some of these guys doing these pieces that Sorry to Bother You, Train Spotting, like that stuff. Like the guys who are doing stuff like that. Maybe it's one of those guys.
Yeah, because it was a very low budget film even for its time, I feel like. And so I think you take it back now, and it's not even that it has to be high budget or stuff like that, but I think it could be made a lot better and stuff. And that's
especially
one
with
and
the
that's
current
one,
political and social climate.
That's one that's one you might not almost remake, but kind of like all the other movies we talked about where you do a sort of sequence, or not a sequence, sequel, or like a variation of it.
Tell a story. My favorite version of that, I don't know if you've ever seen this one, is Romeo and Juliet, but it's set in it feels like L.A.
I think
it's Leonardo DiCaprio is Romeo, and it's set in modern times.
Is it Romeo and Juliet?
Yes, it's set in modern times, but they use the exact Shakespearean
same
script.
story, but yeah,
It is the dopest retelling of a story I've ever seen because
That's
it
pretty
uses the
sick.
exact.
I feel like I've
playwright.
seen something like that or heard it.
I hated Romeo and Juliet in school.
Oh yeah,
I didn't fall in love with it until I saw that movie because it gave new meaning to a lot of the lines and like a lot of the stuff that
when you
was
see
going
it
on.
from a modern perspective.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. That one's Romeo and Juliet. I don't know. I think it might be not Kate Winslet because she's the one in Titanic. Forget who Juliet is, but Leonardo, young boy, he's a baby. Young Leo's Romeo, and it's good.
Yeah,
It's
that's
solid.
well. So, yeah, I think that's some of the top ones. We did mainly movies, so we might have to do this again with shows.
We'll do
more
that.
shows.
You want to do? What you want to do? 5, 10? We can come back, man.
Rank them?
Yeah.
We could do. We'll go like. We can do 6 since I essentially gave my top.
Okay.
One already.
I'll tell you what. I'll come with 3 that I would want remade and 3 that are like don't touch it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll come with 3 that would be cool to see again in a different light, and 3 where I'm like, yeah, don't just leave that alone. Give me the Blu-ray box set and leave it at that. Leave it at that.
So, last quick thing before we leave, honorary checks and balances.
That's my favorite. I think that's my favorite way to say that. Talking about reparations.
Reparations, checks and balances.
Checks and balances.
Time to balance it out. And this one's not even a laughing matter stuff because over this weekend, that tragedy happened in Pittsburgh where the synagogue got shot up. And
yes.
This caught my attention today on Twitter, but it was basically Pharrell was he sent an angry cease and desist to President Trump for playing his song Happy. And at first I saw it and I was just like, okay. I thought it was one of those just like I was all cool for it because it's like, yo, I don't want you associated with my art or whatever.
That's my property. Yeah.
But then as I read the article and even saw more about it and I was just like, what is like I thank you for doing this, Pharrell, and like for being so ferocious and like just over the top about and like very aggressive with it because
it was more than just him trying to be anti-Trump.
Yeah,
like, that whole thing.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was Saturday. It was Saturday, yeah. Saturday, there was a church shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, and then a few hours later, Trump was having a rally somewhere. As we mentioned earlier, voting's coming up in a week, and so he's kind of doing his run around trying to helping out Republicans and stuff like that. And so legit a couple hours after this tragedy had happened, Trump was at a rally and he was playing Pharrell's Happy song, Because I'm Happy.
Right.
And so a couple days later, Pharrell finds out, I guess Pharrell and his people find out about it. Yeah. And today Pharrell kind of went at him with the cease and desist letter. And mainly it was just kind of going off about it because it was just like, I don't care if this is like you or whoever. This is just overall towards your team or whatever.
Yeah.
A tragedy just happened. 2 hours later, you're going into a rally playing this song. It's not a time to be happy. It's not a time to be cheerful. Like something like that happens, I don't care how much planning you do in a rally or whatever.
That's right.
You just got to switch the pace.
Pick another song.
You got to switch the pace. And that's the thing, like, having worked at a church and even working now, doing my job with social media, you can have something planned, but when things happen don't
be tone deaf.
Yeah, you can't. You just got to be prepared to change moods.
That's right.
It's like, yo, we can push this back for a different week or whatever, but this tragedy just happened. We can't keep acting like something's going all smooth despite even if you might have acknowledged it and stuff. Like setting that mood up with playing Happy and all that. No, like that's not okay. And that's just one of those. It's just like it's such a senseless. Like there's people, even if you didn't pick up on that, there should be people around you like, hey,
right.
There's this tragedy that just happened. We can't the song is not fitting for this moment.
That's right. How many times have you and I gone on stage or somebody we work with had gone on stage and like at a hazard site, we try to keep the energy high and the mood high.
Yeah.
But when it came down to communication, we had to recognize that thing that happened.
Yeah.
Whether it was a tragedy that happened somewhere else, but we've gone up on stage where kids have died at school, or like somebody's parents died, like one of our students' parents died, and we've had to like recognize that. And it's kind of crazy to watch. And that's just us in our like little bubble. It's kind of crazy to watch a team that basically manages the president
just miss.
Be so tone deaf.
Just so off. Like, it's crazy.
And again, like, and this is not a thing that's exclusive to this administration, but it is frustrating when it's kind of like, look, bro, can we at least acknowledge, like,
yeah,
we got 11 people that are not here anymore, you know, so, nah.
In the one place, like, the one place you should not be expecting something like that to happen. Doesn't matter what you believe in or whatever. That's the one place you don't expect something like that to happen, and you shouldn't have to worry about it.
Right.
That's the crazy part. And I saw someone retweet something because it might have been yesterday or a couple days ago. There was like a shooting at a school, and and I think it was the school account had tweeted it, or someone announced it was like the school's not canceled. We're gonna be going back, and it was just like, America is messed up when, like, we've normalized school shootings. School shooting occurs. It's all good.
Yeah.
Everyone go back to class. Like, what?
I think the tweet said something along the lines of, we've officially normalized school shootings. And I was like,
yeah.
Bro,
I saw that, and I was just...
Y'all acting like y'all got 3 inches of snow.
Exactly.
Like, that's crazy.
North Carolina canceled school because it rained.
Yeah.
Because it rained.
Yeah.
But a school shooting, I know there's not North Carolina,
we'll be in class tomorrow.
Yeah, a school shooting, we good. That's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is just crazy. So shouts to Pharrell for that, because I think that's we got to keep doing that, because that administration is just clueless, or even if it is clueless, because it's at a point where, and that's the other thing with this whole thing, where it came out, it was Trump's wife, his kids, and like a bunch of people had to urge him to be hard on the person that did the shooting or whatever, or committed the crime. And it's like some report came out, it was like, they had to tell him to just not write it off, kind of like what he did with Charleston. And when you take a look at this one, this all sparks back to Charleston. What were they cheering in Charleston? Jews will not replace us.
Yeah.
Jews will not replace us. Spike Lee came out with Black Klansman, threw it at the end of their 1 year anniversary. 3 months later, this happens. And I've read some of the stories of like the background of this dude, and like this is him feeding all off the propaganda white supremacists, white nationalists have been throwing around and stuff like that. And it's just like, yo, you see these things and we're writing them off as like, oh, these people are crazy and stuff. But it's like, all right, they're crazy. How are we keeping them in check? How are we like, somebody's watching the eye of? And the crazy thing is, like we've talked about it, is Trump has allowed these people to kind of just come out and show their true colors. And that's like the one kind of, that's the one thing that stands out about this, because it's like this Trump run's not going to last forever. And so you've revealed yourself, and later down the line, like, this will come back to bite you. But yo, these people, it's at the point where people are talking reckless and stuff on social media. It can no longer be of they're just talking because they're Trump supporters, stuff like that, because there's so much that's happened, that's so much that we've seen, that it's like, nah, like, we need to take every little thing serious at this point. Someone says this, or like, yeah, no, like, no, I don't care what.
Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody recently. Actually, it's crazy to see how much this comes up now, because we're at a place now where I'm not quite sure if you can argue with it. But if you say you want to argue with the notion that our current commander in chief is racist, the argument that I've gotten back from that, well, there's no proof there's nothing that he's done or said that proves that he's racist. He said some ignorant things, and he said some misinformed things, but there's nothing that I've seen that tells me that our commander-in-chief is racist. And to me, that's not even really like the issue so much as, are you creating an environment where white supremacists feel threatened?
No.
If you are a white supremacist, I want you to feel threatened in America.
Yeah.
That is a good thing.
Nah, these dudes are feeling like
good thing.
These dudes are coming
These
out
cats
waving.
Are comfy.
It's a coming out party for
These
them.
cats are comfy.
The past year and a half, 2 years have been a coming out party for them. It is just coming out, waves flagging. Like, you might as well just walk down the street with a flag saying, I'm a white supremacist. And at this point, like, I don't know what would happen. Like, nothing. It seems like nothing would happen. So it's just crazy. And I didn't mean to go on this whole tirade about it and stuff, but just kind of sparking off of that. It's crazy. It's crazy, like, how the people running our country can be so clueless to not even think of, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't play this song at this time. It's not appropriate. It's not appropriate coming off a couple hours off the worst what's the word? Semitic, anti-Semitic kind of thing happening. But I don't know. I'm even lost at words or whatever. But just leave it at that. Shouts out to Pharrell for doing that.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. Like, when we say shouts out to Pharrell, we're talking about awareness, bro.
Yeah, awareness.
Yeah, and that's really what we're talking about. We're like,
it's people in power, people who like have voices, holding people that need to be held accountable. And it's little stuff like that, because he could easily blow it off, or it could be something easily he could have gone to him about it, and they could have just tried to pay him off about it. But it's like, no, like, you're not about
royalties.
This is bigger than just music and whatever the crap you're doing.
Right.
So
right. But yeah, look, we've said this before when we go political. Educate yourself, man. Educate yourself. Ask questions, and like, be willing to like see something from somebody else's perspective. Like, even if you like definitively know the person across from you is wrong, be willing to come at things from their angle. But yeah, no, this is all love, bro. Like, the reason why this is all going crazy is because we insist upon loving ourselves more than we love the person next to us. So just be willing to, in love, like make people aware. Make people aware, ask the questions, do all your research, do all that stuff. That's the stuff that's gonna help. Otherwise, the people in power, whoever it is, they win, bro. Yeah. If we don't educate ourselves, they win. So keep at it. Shoot, it's crazy out here in these streets.
Yeah. Don't take random rides from strangers.
And, don't do that, bro.
You live.
I'm glad you're okay, bro. I'm glad you're okay,
man. I'm telling you, I was so shook after that experience. I'm scarred from that. It was, and once again, nothing homophobic or anything, but it's just like the aspects of it, and when you think about it, this dude was creeping on someone way younger than his age, and he assumed me for someone I was way younger than.
Yep.
Which is gross.
Ladies, we got your back. We look. We can understand, but we can't relate. That's the thing. Thing. We can understand. That's one of those situations where you might have understood before, but man, you might understand a little bit better now, right?
I got a little better understanding.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're all right. Yeah.
Why y'all?
Please don't take right. I know it sounds like something your parents would tell you when you're like 8. Don't talk to strangers.
Don't talk to strangers, man. I am.
Don't take rides to
I am.
strangers. I ain't trying to be antisocial.
No,
but
man.
after
I am
something like that,
rude
like,
from here on out to anybody.
Right.
Anybody. I don't care if you got 5 bags of groceries in your hand. I'm not helping you. Nope. I've been scarred. It's gonna take me some time to recover.
Oh no.
This. All right. On that note, we're gonna get out.
Yeah.
Culture Discourse Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at CDiscoursepod. Tweet us, like it,
Oh yeah.
love it, retweet.
Share it, man.
Listen to episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and wherever else.
we all over the place.
So, Culture Discourse Podcast. It's your boy Ben.
All right, and this is bro, Twitter at Chase Actually,
At
Instagram
At Thundercat Felix.
Yeah, man, and at Instagram you can catch me at High Speed Chase or Top Speed Chase. My bad. I wanted it to be High Speed Chase. High Speed Chase got taken.
I might have to change my Instagram to at Thundercat Felix
Yeah,
also.
unify all that stuff. I might too. Just have it all be the same.
Yeah, it's easier that way.
Top Speed Chase Instagram, at Chase Actually Twitter. We'll catch you guys later.
Yeah.